Hey Angel, this is going to be my full moon in Gemini reading. Actually, this started out in reverse. So I shuffled these cards in advance of starting the camera, and came out with the Four of Pentacles in reverse. For me, this is a good card because this is an indication of letting go finally of something that you've been holding on to for far too long, like something that you know you need to get rid of. It could be a relationship, it could be a living condition, a job, just about anything. But you've like if it's a job, it's one of those jobs that it's a dead end job, there's nothing there for you, then they're not happy with you, you're not happy with them, but you just keep going because you're like, well, at least I get a paycheck. And that's not really enough reason. That's not a fulfilling reason for a human being to stay at a job. So you should have left by now, but you haven't. And this is you finally doing it. And the same thing can go for a relationship. It's not getting any better. You're not getting any closer. You have a better time with your friends than with your partner or mate. You feel better as a person when you're not around them as opposed to when you are with them. And it's just a dead end relationship going nowhere fast that you should have gotten rid of. But maybe you have children together, or maybe you're actually married or something. So it's something that's been preventing you from just walking away from this relationship, but you need to. And so again, in the reverse, this is an indication that finally, we're finally doing that. We're able to let go of these situations, living condition that we know we need to get out of, whether it's with whom we're living or in the environment we're living, the space, whatever. It's time to move, and we're going to make that possible, even if that means we got to go stay with, friends or roommates or whatever, in the time being before we get a new place. It's that kind of energy. I'm happy to see it. So, actually today, because you guys know I'm clairaudient, and today I heard a song that never affected me the way it did today, ever. And it's an old song. It's a song from my childhood, so it's not like I'm new to hearing it. And it was this song called "Good Times." These are the good times, right? Leave your cares behind, all this stuff. But it was like one verse that stood out, so I'm going to tell it to you as best as I can remember it. A rumor has it that it's getting late. Time marches on, just can't wait. The clock keeps turning, why hesitate? You silly fool, you can't change your fate. And it's, let's cut the rug, something, I don't remember that part. We want the best, we won't settle for less. Don't be a drag, participate. And then the last line is clams on the half shell and roller skates. So of course that probably doesn't mean anything to anybody. It may mean something with relation to where you were at a particular time in your life and what it is you need to revisit. But what struck me, or what I heard in a different way today, that I immediately knew that I was receiving a message, was the part about it's getting late. Like, we're late in this game, right? Or this journey or whatever. But the clock is going to keep moving. Like, you can still be stuck. You can still be where you were 5 years ago. The clock is not. The calendar is not. You're getting older. Days are passing. Things are changing, right? The clock keeps turning. So why hesitate? Like, why are you still waiting? Life doesn't go on forever. So it's getting late. It's getting late in the game for you as an individual, and it's getting late in general. Time marches on. It just can't wait. It can't wait for us to be ready, right? The clock keeps turning. Why hesitate? You silly fool. You can't change your fate. So by staying stuck in a situation, you still have the same fate. You're still going to have to deal with the same thing you're going to have to deal with, or there's still the same, relationship or situation, that's waiting for you. And it's likely the way the universe works and the way the universal laws work. So a situation that's far better, a relationship that's far better than what you are having now. So why you're trying to change it would likely be fear. So you're trying to stay stuck where you are to avoid that situation. But again, this is very positive, because it's like letting go, at least some people letting go of it during this period. And then we have the Page of Swords upright, so this is appropriate too, because this is the Gemini full moon. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, of course, represented by the Page of Swords. This can be a card, especially in reverse, that maybe points to like mild disagreements, rumors. Like I just said, the line in that song was, a rumor has it that it's getting late. So it could be something like that. But I just felt that it was about the Gemini, like full power, because the Gemini full moon, if you are a Gemini out there, this moon will be best for you. It is our first house of self and self-expression. So very, very positive. And then we have this Four of Wands here showing up for everybody. But this will also be a very positive moon for Sagittarius, which is our mirror sign, because actually the full moon in Gemini is trine Jupiter. And a nice trine with Jupiter. And also Pisces. I was just about to say Pisces, and this Seven of Cups showed up. Seven of Cups has always represented Pisces for me because it just looks so, you know, like confused. It's head in the clouds, dreamy. I got so many goals. I got so many options. I got so many dreams, so many wishes, you know. And so that's very Piscean for me. So Jupiter is actually the esoteric ruler of the sign of Pisces. So Pisces will also experience this moon in a very special way. And it should be lucky, especially for the signs that I just mentioned. But, you know, I think it's going to be good for everybody because Jupiter is positive for everybody. Planet of luck, growth, expansion. And it's direct, right? It's no longer retrograde. So I just think it's really going to be awesome for everyone. This full moon. It's also considered a micro moon, which is like the opposite of a super moon. Super moon appears to be like right up on us and huge because it looks like it's so close. So the opposite of that micro moon will appear furthest away. And our overall energy for this reading is, or for this spread at least, is going to be the King of Cups, followed by the Knight of Cups in reverse, and the Hierophant in reverse. I had to think about that for a minute because there could be some, I mean, this is very positive and may correlate in your life directly to a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces who will be significant. If it's not, you know, tied to an actual person, it's tied to loving energy, generosity, romance. So it's very positive. And then we have the Knight of Cups also showing up, also a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces possibly, the Hierophant, Taurus energy. Then we have this Seven of Cups, and then we got, you know, showing up again. So maybe we have a lot of options too. Actually, Taurus and Scorpio are also mirror opposites. That may be something, maybe something to that also. So I'm going to think about these cards while I'm laying the spread. We're going to start with Divine Being or Couple. We got the Two of Swords in reverse. So this is similar to that Four of Pentacles kind of energy for me, because the Two of Swords for me is one of those cards where you have a decision to make, but you're just like hesitant to make it. You know in your heart what you want to do. You've already kind of decided in your heart, but because of fear and, you know, worry about how it'll look, how it'll appear to others, what others will think, what they'll say, you know, choose to do something else usually, or to not make a decision at all. You know, you're sort of stagnant in a place of indecision, even though, again, in your heart, your soul, you know what you want to do. So Divine Being or Couple, recent past, Six of Cups in reverse. I bent the cards and I was shuffling them. Near future, High Priestess. Masculine's higher self. So many reversals. I should have turned them over. I should have said before I started that I wasn't going to do reversal. It's okay. I'll do it. Masculine's higher self. The Empress in reverse. Blocks to individual or shared, you know, between the couple movement. Progress. What the masculine, what feminine can do to help herself. Everything is in reverse, seriously. What the masculine can, his is upright. What the universe would like to help both with. And the outcome, what will be releasing or what will be the focus or whatever in time for the new moon. Oh, thank God. Oh, man. Okay, that makes me feel good already. I'm sorry. Are these in frame? I don't think so. Is that better? Where should I put this? First, I think the King of Cups upright with the Knight of Cups in reverse, followed by the Seven of Cups upright, could be about daydreaming, like feeling sort of balanced and ready to like figure out what your purpose is now. Now that you're feeling more stable again and balanced as a being. Now it's like, okay, what's my next move? What's my purpose? You know, what should I be headed toward? And it's in a very spiritual way. You know, that's why all the water is showing up. So the King of Cups on his own is about balanced masculine and feminine energy. So this is from where I'm getting this. Okay, you know, why I'm saying this. And he holds like all the positive qualities of both the masculine and the feminine, and can often be, again, a literal man that's in your life, whether he is, you know, identifies as a masculine or a feminine, or, you know, by whatever gender or sexuality. It's not specific with that, but it is typically a man, a male. And you know, this would be a very kind, again, loving, romantic, maybe generous person with you, that the card shows up, or the man shows up, you know, this week or over the next, in the coming weeks. I actually think this energy will be with us for a while, but I do my readings for like 2 week spans, the moon readings. You will be particularly like supported by this person and by the universe, especially if there is no actual person. Then just, you know, understand it to be support by the universe. This is the energy that the universe brings to you. It's very soft, it's very gentle, it's very, you know, again, generous. And this is gonna come about in ways that you know, will be tangible to you and that you will see, and some that are unseen as well. In love, this is a very positive card. I mean, it's super good news. You know, it's probably one of the most romantic cards in the deck, of the whole deck. If you're single and looking, it can definitely indicate that somebody who is like together, you know what I mean by together and like balanced and loving, is headed your way soon. And they may or may not be a direct water sign, you know, but if you're already in a relationship, then you can expect it to get, you know, stronger, deeper, or whatever. And when I say like really loving, like let's see, I don't know, I thought that maybe I had an idea, a way to describe what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say about the King of Cups, but I lost it. So let me move on to the Two of Swords in reverse. Again, this is the card that is representing each divine being or couple that will, you know, hear this reading. And as I said, you know, already, for me, it's very much like the Four of Pentacles with which we started, because in reverse like this, it says that we're finally like ready. Well, in terms of partnerships, again, they're deepening. So that would be one of the things that I said about the King of Cups, and just becoming like more important in our life, you know. But the only warning that comes with it, with regard to relationships and their importance, with the Two of Swords in reverse, is not to like put too much emphasis on like any one partnership, because we have like several priorities in our life when the card shows up. But the time has finally come where we're like truly ready to open ourselves up to deep and meaningful partnerships. And this can either be, you know, on a personal level, a professional level, whatever, both, you know. It just, again, it's just a reminder, like a caveat, that we have to keep an eye on the other aspects of our life as well, to remain in this very balanced state that we're in. So recent past, with the Six of Cups in reverse. And this is a card that talks about looking back on how things used to be and just being very nostalgic. Oh, I remember it used to be like this, or it used to be like that, or we used to be like that. If you're talking about a couple, remember we used to be so happy. Okay, you're not now. You know, it's like that sort of thing. And this can sometimes be connected with children or childhood. So it could be like, when we had the kids, we were so in love, and that was 20 years ago, and we're not now, or maybe the opposite for some people. Whatever, you get the idea. But the reversal suggests that we're like beginning to pay more attention to the future, which is what we need to do, rather than the past. So it also warns us about getting lost also in the past, and thinking that all our good days and like our life from the past is spent, it's over, oh, in the good old days I was so thin, I was so pretty, I was so rich, I was so busy, I was so, and like you can't be that way again. Like it warns us against talking in a way that like the past was where our life is, and as if our lives are over when we still have something left to live. And in love, it says that we're probably going to start dealing with some issues that we've been avoiding with regard to love. If we're in committed relationships, then these can be things that we were trying to sweep under the rug because, we wanted to keep the peace, keep the harmony, and, not get into an argument. But again, maybe now it's time, again, remember when we used to be so happy? We're not now. Okay, let's talk about that. Maybe we can get happy again, or maybe it's time for us to part ways. If you're single and looking, then the time has come for you to take a look at yourself and sort of try to think about what we're doing or not doing to bring love into our life, or maybe to push love away, to reject love. And then once we figure out what that is, help us to pull some love in, you know what I mean? To get some. So for blocks, we have the Chariot in reverse. And the Chariot in reverse is still about movement. It's just that, and the movement can be literal, from moving from a physical place to another. So again, thinking about maybe the Two of Swords or the Four of Pentacles in reverse. Maybe we're finally realizing a living condition doesn't work for us and we're moving. Okay, it can be about that. It can also be about metaphysical movement, in terms of growth. Again, think Jupiter. Or change in your ideologies and belief systems and things like that. It can also be a change where you or someone close to you maybe needs to be, have a change of heart, or mind with regard to a particular issue. So, think not having done that, a lack of movement, it has been the block. The inability to move, again, whether it's physical or metaphysical, has been a block. In love, this can be about us deciding, so to speak, that we've met somebody that's really special to us, and so we think we have to push really hard, in order to get the relationship going or to get into a committed relationship. I just thought about my girlfriend, because she's always like, I just wanted she and the dude she was talking to, dealing with for a long time. I mean, a long time, 2 decades. But they started out as friends for most of that time, and not an actual relationship. So now they're still not really in a relationship, but they are. If they haven't, without the labels. It's but they do all the stuff, I mean, traveling together, everything. But he's been very vocal about, the hurt that he experienced, even though it was forever ago, and how he's not ready. He's doing what he's doing is what he's able to do. He's pushing himself as hard as he can. And so when they have a falling out, and then she ends up with nothing for the period of the falling out, she's like, well, I just want us to at least be friends again. I just want, I'll be happy with just this, or I'll be happy with this, that. And then as soon as they begin to reconcile, she wants to have these serious talks and stuff. Thankfully, she texts me first before she does those things. And I'll say, but remember, he doesn't want any drama. He's trying to ease back in. And she's like, all right, I'm a chill. So yeah, I'm saying all that to say that's what this card is about in love. It's like either pushing too hard or vice versa. Maybe you feel as though there's a relationship you need to get out of and you're like in a rush to do that. And the card doesn't tell you not to do either. It just tells you to, think about it first. But in this position, in reverse, and as a block in this placement, I'd say we probably have thought about it already. So whichever one applies to you, if any, I think it's time to move on it. So what the feminine can do to help herself in order to move on it. King of Wands in reverse. So what I think, first and foremost, this is telling the feminine is what she should do to help herself with this block is maybe lean a little bit more into her masculine energy. All right, maybe she's still a little bit imbalanced and more toward the feminine side, and we're going to need a little bit of that masculine energy to take the lead. Maybe the King of Wands is a leader. Another thought or message that's coming in is contrarily to allow your masculine to, like assist you with the blocks and to take the lead, in finding solutions to different situations, rather than you having to sort of like weigh yourself down with them is what I'm getting. And the King of Wands most directly represents the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, so this could be the Jupiter influence. But also, I've told you guys before about a Sagittarius that I dated, and I said he was the best boyfriend ever. Did that, I say that as like an isolated thing, because the fact that I say he's the best boyfriend, he was my best boyfriend ever, and I think he was probably one of the best boyfriends ever, or that type of person, type person he was like the best boyfriend ever. But he's not, like my ex-husband. I mean, he's a different position, and he's not like, the all-time like 3D love of my life. He's not like my divine masculine. Like, these are all different people. But none of those things that they have these other titles, divine masculine is the only man I ever referred to as king, just came right out. I had never called a man a king before. They all have these, their own role and their own placement and title. But this Sagittarius male that I dealt with, the reason why I say that he was the best boyfriend is because he was not about excuses. He was about solutions to everything. And I had never experienced that before, with a person. So it showed me like what to look for, like what I'm supposed to be getting. So that these other people, my masculine, maybe my husband wanted to step it up before we got divorced, or somebody in the future, they have to meet that mark now, like going forward, which could be part of why there's a fear. I don't want to go off on a tangent though. The reason I even brought it up was to try to describe this kind of person that is sort of no nonsense and doesn't make excuses. It's about solutions or, acknowledging that I didn't pass the test here. You know what I mean? So, and this man, not my man, but, in general, this man, the type, this King of Wands in reverse type is probably somebody who's been through a lot in his life. So maybe that's why how he's learned all this wisdom, and he is the way he is. He tends to be, as like a result of what he's gone through, very warm and kind and understanding, and that enables a person, I think, to be like a problem solver. You know what I mean? And he probably has a lot of energy. Like he's ready to go. He's ready to do stuff. But like as he's matured and grown, he's realized that not everybody else can, necessarily match his pace, is where he is, you know. Um, so what the feminine can do to help herself can be either those two, like, and sort of embody those traits, again, leaning into her more masculine energy and being that leader, or allowing one of these like true leaders into her life, and allowing herself to, again, in this case contrarily, maybe be a little softer, maybe lean more into the feminine and allow somebody else to take the lead to get her moving. And another general meaning of the King of Wands in reverse is just that you should have like more than enough energy to get whatever you need to accomplish accomplished. So if you need to get moving accomplished, whether again metaphysical or metaphorical or literal, you should be able to do that too. So moving on to what the masculine could do to help himself, the Two of Pentacles is another one of these cards of balance. We started out with balance with our overall energy, and again, the King of Cups is upright, is the greatest representation of truly balanced energies. The Two of Pentacles is a little bit out of sorts. It's often a card of partnership, so it could be about, again, love, and so I'll touch on that too. And it's likely that we're trying to keep at least two, like the Two of Pentacles, very, big areas of our life, like love and money, or, health and work, or combinations of those, in balance, and we may need to like pull back from trying to pay attention to quite so many things if we're doing any more than that, more than the two, especially. Like multitasking is not the way right now. It's not your friend in this moment. It's not your friend, masculine. And you just need to cut down on some of the things that you're doing in order to focus on, again, these two main priorities. Your financial situation may need to be one of the main priorities. It may need to be more balanced. So make sure that you're paying attention there. And then you can pay attention to your financial situation and your relationship, or your financial situation and your health, or whatever it is, whatever the two main priorities are for you. But if you're going to get moving on anything, you cannot be so scattered. Your energy cannot be so scattered all over the place. You're going to have to focus on, again, one or two things. If it's all about relationships with you, because again, the Two of Pentacles is a card of partnership quite often, maybe you need to cut down to two mates only, or from two mates to only one mate. Actually, if we look at the card, we see that he's got two boats, and one ship is on their way out and one is on their way in. And maybe that's what you need to like allow to happen. If something in your life needs to go, whether it's a relationship or something else, rather than trying to hold it here because it's a nice boat, maybe I should just hold on to it anyway. No, let it go. And because your ship is still coming in. And I'm noticing that I never did the masculine's higher self, which is the Empress in reverse. I did all that talking and trying to explain about the King of Wands in reverse to the feminine and needing to lean into her masculine energies, and went off on a tangent. If I had just looked at that and realized, I mean, they're kind of like the opposites, like the Empress. I mean, this is the masculine's higher self and where he is. And the Empress is even in reverse, is still very much about feminine power and feminine energy. And, very mysterious feminine energy. It can be very fertile, very sexual energies associated with this card. And she can indicate when she shows up in a reading that you're putting too much emphasis on your masculine energy. So maybe that's the deal. And again, if I had just looked up and realized I had never talked about that card, I wouldn't have went off. It's like just going on and on about somebody you guys don't even know, trying to explain what I meant, because now what it's looking like to me is that the balance would be made from the masculine being overly masculine right now, needing to lean into his feminine energy, and the feminine being overly masculine right now and needing to lean into her masculine energy, and then the two of them meeting somewhere in the middle is a very nice partnership, very healthy partnership. And I like the way that sounds. We all have both masculine and feminine energies. The souls are androgynous, and so you don't need to feel any kind of way when I say, if you're a male, that you need to lean into your feminine energy, or vice versa. So, in a more general idea, the or more general translation of the Empress in reverse is that we could somehow have like a mistaken idea, maybe like in our core, so to speak, that we're not very attractive. And that can be a lot, that can mean a lot of things. It can be physical, but it doesn't have to be. It can be in some other area of your life where you just feel unattractive, you feel unworthy, you feel undeserving. And if you're feeling this way, it's definitely something that you need to think about and address. And because you definitely have things to offer on every level of your being, and need to give yourself credit and need to understand that we're all worthy, we're all deserving of love and decent treatment and a good life and all of that. And so the Empress reverse shows up sometimes to suggest that we need to get more in touch with love and happiness, and the love and happiness that flows within us, or should be flowing within us. And sometimes the way to get in touch with that is through things like meditation. So you may want to try that. Masculine. In terms of love, even though you're feeling unattractive possibly, and again, this is not a superficial thing. This is like at your core. You're just feeling sort of like, I'm a piece of shit. That kind of thing. In love, contrary to that, to how you may be feeling, there could be, all of a sudden, you can find yourself being sort of like pursued by several potential love interests, right? And this may be why we have the Seven of Cups showing up more than once. Oh, you know what I did when I thought about these cards together? I thought King of Cups, Knight of Cups reverse, Seven of Cups upright. I forgot about the Hierophant being in there. But in any case, that may be why we've had the Seven of Cups show up before, and now again, it's right here, like almost at the top of the deck, because you guys have got options. If you're in a committed relationship, this card reminds us that we need to pay attention to our intuition about the relationship. So whatever that means in your life, if you're getting positive messages about the relationship, you're getting negative messages about the relationship, it's telling you need to push, you need to dive deeper into the relationship, it's telling you need to run, get out and run as fast as you can away from the relationship. Whatever it is, we need to pay real attention to these messages that we're getting through our intuition. And basically, she wants us to trust our instincts and follow our heart. And if we don't, we will regret it one day. Okay, I'm getting the message. You will live to regret it if you don't follow. And it can be tied maybe to that message from Good Times. Again, like the clock is ticking. And one day you're going to look up and you're going to be, elderly if you're lucky, right? Because the opposite of being elderly is not being here anymore, in terms of growing old. So if you're lucky, one day you're going to look up and you're going to be a senior citizen. and then it's kind of too late. I mean, there is the saying that says it's never too late, and there are people in their 80s and 90s to that still find love and marry and things like that. I'm sure we can all agree that that's not the best case scenario. If it can be done younger and you can enjoy, your life and have someone to enjoy it with, then that's best. I have been watching Sex and the City like since I was younger, since it was out, and I think I was a young mom. I was probably like 21 when it started. I don't know how old I was, but I remember being an avid watcher of it while I was, working adult. But I started working at this one particular job when I was 21, when my son was like days old. So anyway, I got like 30 years invested in this show, right, in this franchise, and they just came out with like the newest series. It's called And Just Like That, and Just Like That was always a tagline, something that the lead character, this woman Carrie, would always say. And hopefully I'm not giving away any spoilers because they're up to episode 3. So if you are somebody who watches it, you should have seen this by now. In the very first episode, Carrie, the lead, her husband, died. He had a heart attack and died. Now, most of the series was about their on-again, off-again relationship. And they finally got it right and got married in one of the movies. And now, after all those years that they weren't together, like 20 years of not being together, 25 years of not being together, we have to imagine, at least in our heads, not marrying into the movie, then they got like 5 years together and now he's dead. And that's how life is, or that's how life can be. So we do need to think about stuff like that in terms of like, why am I wasting time? I'm so afraid of something that I probably can't even put my finger on what the thing is exactly that I'm afraid of, that I'm spending my life with people or in a place or with things that I don't really give a shit about, while the thing that I do, or at least the idea of the thing that I do, I know what kind of love I want, and I know this isn't it. I know what kind of life I want, and I know this isn't it. I know what kind of career or job path I want, and this isn't it. But there's something that, again, I can't even figure out exactly what it is that's making me stay with this rather than going out and getting that. When you think about it like that, it's lunacy, isn't it? So this is what this is the message that I'm getting. And I think that, again, a lot of people are going to be just directed to do this sort of naturally and intuitively anyway in 2022. I just think this is the direction we're going in. And that's why the cards are starting to look like this. But it's definitely a time, and you may want to give it some thought if you are one of the people who's been trapped in, this kind of cycle. What the universe would like each archetype to do and wants to help us with is the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is actually, people see swords and they get sort of like, ugh, swords is like, ugh. Often they're about challenge and difficulty. But the Knight of Swords is actually a pretty upbeat and cheerful energy. And traditional tarot most directly represents the sign of Gemini. So it's very appropriate that this is our, the card that the universe wants us to inspire to, the energy the universe wants us to aspire to under the Gemini full moon. Can often mean that someone or something desirable, something that we want, something we've been trying to manifest, is about to seek us out too. Like the saying, what we're looking for is often looking for you too. And can also point to like a peak level of our, physical health or our emotions, our spiritual energy, combinations of those just being at their height right now. The Nine of Swords can be about good news. If we're waiting for news from someone or something, or about someone or something, then we're likely to get that news, and it's likely to be what we actually want to hear. The decision, the answer, or whatever it is that we want to hear. The Knight of Swords can be about things like travel, and so it's sitting here right above the chariot. Chariot can be about a block can be our need to travel. Maybe we need to go visit someone or something. Maybe we need to relocate for a job. Maybe we need to move to a new city or a new state, not just move down the block. So there could be travel involved. There could be actual movement in that regard. It can be about what else is like a lot of activity, like just being out and about and doing stuff, getting things accomplished, knocking out our goals, boom, 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 boom. And very unlikely that you're going to be willing or, to just like wait around for somebody else to do something or something, like a Gemini is like the type, really, I mean, I think I can speak for Geminis in general because I'm a Gemini several times over. I'm not just a Gemini sun. My Mercury's in Gemini, my Venus, so both my Venus is in Gemini, so both rulers. And then I have also I have an asteroid. I think it's Ceres in Gemini and something else. Just a lot of Gemini, a lot of Aquarius in my chart, and so I think I can say how a Gemini is, and it's like we don't like to wait for, like, we feel like we're waiting unnecessarily. It's like, never mind, I'll just do it. Like it's like that saying, if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. For us, if you want something done quickly, you want something done right away, you want something done immediately, you have to do it yourself. We don't like just like wasting time for no reason. We don't like people taking like the long way to do something when there's a much easier direct route and manner in which to get it handled, so you're probably going to feel like that whether you're a Gemini or not. Just like, I got to do this, I got to go after it, whatever my heart's desire is, I got to go after it. I can't wait for it to come to me. I can't wait for you to bring it to me. It's taking too long. In terms of love, it's one of those cards that says that we could literally be swept off our feet, whether male or female, masculine or feminine. Again, it's not gender or sexuality specific. With souls are androgynous and none of that matters. If you're currently in a committed relationship, then again, it's another one of these cards that says that it may deepen, brighten up, get a little bit more, satisfying for you. And if you're single and looking for love, it can come along like when you least expect it, but you have to be having some sort of contact with other people in order for this to happen. Obviously, you got to be outside or around, or wherever you can possibly meet people, and maybe get dressed and be out and having a good time, and somebody could fall into your lap. And the energy that we should expect to not only generate and benefit from during this period, but carry with us into and toward the new moon is the Ten of Cups upright. So this is awesome. Ten of Cups is another one of the most like just uplifting cards in the deck, that you can receive. It's about happiness. It's about joy. It's about just family and love and maybe like the actual manifestation, tangible manifestation of the wish fulfillment that the Nine of Cups promised us. It's just a good card, and in general it talks about family life, even if you're single, just like love surrounding you or loved ones or whatever. General well-being, that's for us, that's for those that we care about, that we're most concerned with, our immediate loved, our parents, our siblings, our children, our mate, of course, or love interest or whatever. It's a very spiritual card too. The picture is sort of like about not only family. I get fellowship, from the card. So it's like one of those cards that's good no matter what placement in your life you're looking at it, whether it's love or general or work or whatever. It's always positive. If you're in a relationship and you're worried about the relationship, then this card shows up to tell you that there's nothing that you need to worry about. Like maybe you just feel like you and your partner are not on the same page right now, or things aren't going well. There's a paranoia, like I was saying about my girlfriend. She always has a need to like push and push and push, as if things aren't okay. Meanwhile, the man is chilling. And maybe this can especially happen when you're talking about water and air combinations. Like she's a Scorpio and he's a Libra. So there's a lot of emotion with this person and maybe not so much with this one. And so we're not necessarily seemingly on the same page, but we can be. And so the card shows up to say that you are, you and your mate, or again, love interest or whatever, are on the same page. If you're in a relationship that you haven't necessarily made a formal commitment in, like my girlfriends, right? And you're hoping that you will make a formal commitment, then this card shows up to say it's coming. But it warns you against the kind of stuff I was just saying. It warns you not to sabotage it by causing problems where there aren't any. All right. So I guess that's why I was meant to kind of share the story of my girlfriend with you. I want to give us some fortune cookies messages also. And we're starting with declutter. For this, declutter your life. Let go of correspondence, objects, and people that you no longer want. Okay. That was to the point. Someone will hurt your feelings and reveal a new side of themselves that you may wish to avoid. Interesting. I've been telling people to declutter for the past several weeks. We've been getting a lot of the Queen of Pentacles, which can be about that. I want to put one here in the card that represents the divine being and or couple. I want to put one here in the near future. Did I talk about the High Priestess? I feel like I did not. And it's interesting. We have the High Priestess and the Empress. And I was talking about feeling unattractive. High Priestess also in reverse, which for me can often be about things like dysmorphia, like seeing yourself in a negative way, whereas other people don't. I don't think I talked about her. I want to put one here with the masculine's higher self. I want to put one here with what the universe wants to help us with. And I want to put one here with our outcome, so to speak. So divine being or couple, what is our fortune? Manifestations. A bountiful time awaits you. Your wishes could manifest right before your eyes. That would be very, very Gemini. We are master manifestors, especially when we know how to use it. I also didn't share that because with the Gemini energy, the great communicator of the zodiac, ruled by the communication planet Mercury. I also feel that some sort of news, information, clarity, secret will come to light during the next 2 weeks. Like you will receive some information that will clear up something. If you need a closure, maybe in a relationship, you'll finally get it. Maybe you're waiting for it for years. Something comes out of somewhere that is like a secret or unknown to you that once you get this information, it's going to be like, like, okay, that opened up a whole bunch of stuff. All right, near future. What is our fortune in the near future? Assert yourself. Go for what you want. The time is ripe for soulmate connections. The birth of a child is also likely. Okay, very nice. Near future, meeting with a soulmate and also maybe having a child. Masculine higher self. What does your higher self want for you, masculine? What is your future? Your fortune. Ooh, difficult times. Be on your guard against chaos and unforeseen perils. And if not, emotional upheaval are foretold. All right. Be on your guard against chaos as unforeseen perils or emotional upheaval are foretold. If you're not on your guard. What the universe wants us to do and wants to help us with: perseverance. You may feel like you're getting nowhere, but there are wonderful changes ahead. Don't give up. If you hear the noise in the background, I have to check and make sure my door is closed. But my daughter's having a Christmas party in my house. And the energy that we're taking with us, the good fortune, positive work outcomes, consistent efforts will bring rewards, and a major purchase is worth making. So before I go, the High Priestess in reverse. So sorry I didn't talk about it before. Can still be a very spiritual card, often with still very sexual overtones. But it can be more difficult for us to see and to tap into the powerful intuition for which the High Priestess is known when she's in reverse like this. Also, it can be more difficult for us to feel like we're tapping into that very attractive energy that flows when the High Priestess, appears, especially when she's upright. The energy is still there, so we have to allow ourselves to feel it. Maybe we've got to put a little bit more extra effort into feeling it. Also, it can be more difficult for you to hear, right, what your intuition is telling you. And if that's the case, you need to quiet down, right? You need to chill. You need to quiet down. Spend some time in meditation, which I did talk about meditation with the Empress with regard to the masculine. So yeah, maybe we all could stand to do some meditation and tap in and get more in tune or whatever. And maybe you want to try different approaches. Like if you're not a meditator, maybe yoga or going on walks or journaling or something would be better for you. And I say that because if you're a Gemini, or an air sign in general, it's very possible that you're not a meditator. We often can't get our minds to be still, for long enough to do any meditation. So maybe we go for a walk or something instead and burn off that very busy energy that we have. Also, the information that we seek is there. So you just have to trust your instincts and know that it's there. With regard to love, even in reverse, there's still a very strong likelihood that others are finding us much more attractive than usual. Same thing like I told the masculine specifically with the Empress. And we can be finding it difficult to understand, like, why? Where is this person, where are these people even coming from? Where are they coming from literally? Like coming out of the woodwork, and why? And where they come, like, I don't get where you're coming from. It's like that type of thing with regard to love and romance. And if we are confused and we don't get the attraction or whatever it is we're confused about, do not jump to conclusions. Find a way to ask for clarification if you're interested. And that is the High Priestess. She often does, and particularly for me, because it is the goddess Isis that appears on the card, represents the sign of Gemini. All right, so again, another very appropriate card for the Gemini full moon reading. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I'll be back with the weekly and love for this week, as well as I have done, and I thought that I would have done the entire zodiac by now, but I have done 6 months out of the zodiac, Capricorn through Aries, I think it was, whatever it was. I did 6 months, and they're all set to go live on the 19th at, I think, 11:45 in the afternoon. So you have all of that coming to you. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. I do appreciate it. When it comes to the zodiac readings, please do tune in to your moon, sun, and rising signs for a full picture. Namaste.